Assalamualaikum and hi. So today me and my groupmates will be presenting an article which the title is The Internalization of SMEs in Oman. Next. First of all, we will start with the introduction. Next. This article is all about the internalization of small and medium-sized business (SMEs) in Oman. For the authors, it is a work contribution between three authors, which are Shafiq Sanyal, Ali Bawin, and Muhammad Wahid Hisam. The article is from Journal of Asian Finance, Academics and Business, where the journal is an open access journal that publishes research, study and investigation into current issues in Asian finance, academics and business. Moreover, the article has been published in August 2020, which is considered as from the recent years. The article is linked with the chapter 5 in the module, which is growing and internalizing the entrepreneurial firm. Next.
The aim of this article is to highlight the factors that influence the success of SMEs in Oman in their global expansion. This article also aims to examine the crucial factors that will help Omanese SMEs in their internationalization effort. By increasing the number of SMEs in Oman, this may lead to giving advantage of new environmental conditions. Next.
Now let's move on to the purpose of article. Next. The purpose of this article is to tell the readers on how the internalization of the SMEs can strive for earnings and boom increase in the foreign market. As we all noted that entering foreign market may give lots of advantage and benefits towards the business. The article does offer the weight and increasing the literature on link between numerous factors that influence the group action SMEs in developed economies in Oman. Why would the author select Oman? Because the country for this observe is simply due to the fact Oman's financial system has experienced such increase in financial system during the last many years because of oil export. Due to this, the wide variety of SMEs in all sectors has grown on the identical time wherein they made lots of contribution. From the study, numerous authors have endorsed mix of theories to explain the development of SME in going international. Next.
Okay, next, let's move on to major funding. Next. Okay, there are a few factors that influence SME in Oman. Okay, first is human resource. Human capital is one of the significant factors supporting entrepreneurship, development, and evolution. Besides, a manager educational background and international appetite are important factors in forecasting of firm internalizations. The second one is network competency. Small business use industry network to find vendors, consumers, dealers, and other resources in international markets. Moreover, small business owners who want to expand internationally must work hard to develop network skills. Next. Okay, the third one is entrepreneurial orientations. The firm's network partnership are strongly connected to and influenced by entrepreneurial orientations. Due to the entrepreneurial essence of all foreign operations, there is an unavoidable recognition of risk as well as the need to innovate and adjust. And lastly, market volatility. The connection between entrepreneurial orientation and SME export success can be moderated by a number of environmental factors. Trade tension between the United States and China, as well as a drop in oil price and renewed Middle East tensions, have both contributed to recent market uncertainty for SME in Oman. As for the conclusion, by focusing on small and medium enterprise in a developing market like Oman, the study contributes to the current body of appetite on the process of internalizations, and there are numerous possibilities for developing a variety of models to describe the pattern of SME entrepreneurial internalization actions. Next.
Next is argumentation and evidence. Next. The first evidence is from research instrument. Research instrument is a structured questionnaire with 1 denoting strongly disagree and 5 denoting strongly agree. The question also is in 2 languages, which is Arab, English and Arab, because there might be some respondent that's not good in English. Next. Second are sampling. Sampling consists of SMEs from various industries across Oman, which the majority of the respondents were in the manufacturing sector. The respondents are located across all the governorates in Oman. Next. The third one is data collection. The questionnaire was sent to the person via email for the data collection. The respondents were screened to make sure that they had fewer than 500 employees and must be actively engaged in company's operation. Next.
Let's move on to the important, current, and adequate citation. Next. The author mostly cite from journals for their reference, as the reference spans from 1976 to 2020. The knowledge presented in the article was primarily focused on the current information. However, we could see that the references are mostly from the last few years, as it started in 2017 and ending in 2020. It is clear from this that all of the data gathered is accurate. Next.
Next is article contribute to international business, which is the first one is human capital helps business to move internationally, which is the experience, talent, and the skills are included in human capital. And human capital is very important in contribute the businesses a great strategy to overcome the competitors. Next, the secondly is network relationship and competence affect the internalization of SMEs. SMEs can access foreign market and share the risk of operating in new market and exchange resources between the different businesses. And the thirdly is entrepreneurial orientation helps SMEs to grow internationally. The managerial skill and firms behavior that are entrepreneurial in nature. And it is include the autonomy, innovation, proactiveness, risk-taking, and competitive aggressiveness of the SME. And lastly is the market volatility contributes for SMEs to go internationally. And which is volatility is amount of change that occurs within the business environment. The volatility is good because it gives SMEs opportunity and it is necessary for SMEs to make a profit.
Okay, next is conclusions. Next. Okay, to summarize the article, Oman, which is considered a fast-growing emerging market and the faster-growing economy, is playing an increasingly important role in international markets due to its direct export to many Asian, African, and European countries. Next.
Next is recommendation. Firstly is aware the rivalry among competitors, which is the level of competition will make it easier or more challenging for SMEs to enter and succeed. So as a firm must take important roles in aware the rivalry among competitors.
Next is research based on the culture is also one of the most important factors, as it important to build a good network of relationship internationally and helps SME to have a view from a different perspective to deal with the business, as international business deal with not only cross-border but also cross-culture. Next.
Okay, lastly is make use of innovations. They can develop a culture of innovation and make a space for innovative thinking, as it allows SME to adapt their market model and make improvement in the same market to offer new goods or service. Due to the fact that SME is a small enterprise that need to step ahead from other company to grow, their market is important to have good creativity and it can be a part of their marketing plan. That's all from us. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi. So today me and my groupmates will be presenting a case study on re-entering a foreign market. First of all, we will start with introduction, which the author is Roberta Auguzeli, George Langler, Carlos Sousa, and Gabriel Benito. And the article is retrieved from British Journal of Management. And the article was published on 25 May 2020. And this case study is dealing with the chapter 6 in the module of entering the foreign market.
Okay, next, the goal of the studies is to pay attention on how agencies from growing economies attain and depart rising market, or how companies from rising market input and go out extra advanced market. And the main focus is the study analyze re-entry options and the process from the perspective of a large multinational company based in Brazil in the Mexican market. Next.
Next is the purpose of article. Next. The article is focusing on how developing country companies enter or exit emerging market. The firms may fail to learn from the previous exit the market experience when they decided to re-enter the foreign market. The firms must learn and have expert knowledge, especially regarding the country's culture, practice, and law. And the articles provide a better view of the complex dynamics of re-entry actions. The firm's re-entry decision is a complex process that depends on a variety of factors. And the situation is different when we enter the market compared to the first entry. Next.
Okay, next, the major findings. Next. Okay, the decision to re-enter a company is free from phase that influenced by a combination of internal and external aspects. Begin with internal aspect, which includes the quality of business, their owner and their manager play a big role in deciding whether or not to enter a global market. Next, foreign market exposure and networks with consumer and suppliers can well aid re-entry. The manager expectations are also crucial. If manager have positive view of the market, they can enter this as early, forcing them out for a second time. If the company had a confident manager, they prefer to concentrate on their wins while overlooking their defeats, exaggerating their chance of success. Such behavior will lock their desires, resulting in myopia and business exits. Next. Okay, as for external aspect, it include economic, politic, and cultural factors are likely to have an impact on the chance of re-entry. So when re-entry a previous evidence have all cost implications that corporation must understand. And external considerations such as lack of trustworthy financial intermediaries and poor corporate governance may also influence a company's decision to re-enter the market. And the company must learn how to do business in world where organizations struggle to follow rules in the absence of specific regulations. This can have an effect on how a company protects itself from the institutional climates as well as re-entry outcomes. And to summarize, the company must consider both internal and external factors when deciding on a market entry strategy and in the final decision of market entry modes. Next.
Next is argumentation and evidence. Next. The data collection and analysis in this study have shown why beta failed to the business in Mexico at first. Semi-structured interview are one of the evidence regarding the re-entering company in foreign market. The majority of the interviews were audio-recorded and 3 interviewees, which is the form of 2 former director and a director in Mexico, were re-interviewed after the data was collected for factual verification. Between October 2015 and May 2016, 17 interviews were conducted in Mexico. Next. Next are documentary source. For example, more than 5,000 newspaper and business journal articles were analyzed as well as a book about the company's past. Secondary data was used to triangulate the details in order to clarify dates and context. Next. Third one are direct observation. Direct observation concentrate on verbal response to the keyword list in the literature review and cluster their meaning. Various internal and external keywords were used to refer to various phases that the organization went in Mexico. Next. Evidence of case study in article. Beta found that Alpha was using Beta's technology without consent and caused Beta to exit the market. Beta re-entered Mexico, but they had faced some of the challenge. Finally, Omega and Beta forming an international joint venture that saved Beta from exiting for the second time. Next.
The next one is important, current, and adequate citation. For the reference, the author mainly uses the journal as for the reference, and the range of the reference is 1978 to until 2020. But roughly, the reference are also contained from the recent years, which started from 2016 to 2020. From here, it can be seen that all the information collected is valid to be used in any case and read. And the issues from reference that caught our eyes is why poor performance is not enough for foreign exit from Tan and Sousa in 2019. In this review, they point the empirical studies that explain why companies want to leave the global market.
Next, let's move on to the article contribute to international business. Next. The first point is focusing on the re-entry into Mexico of a major MNCs headquartered in Brazil. It expands our understanding and knowledge of factors that influence re-entry behavior by focusing on an understudies problem which use a case study approach. And that is to clarify the function of information as it developed after entry. It is to gain experience in the variety of business activity as well as form numerous relationship with local partner. Subsequently, having a good business strategy in order to enter foreign market is very important. Next is the role of uncertainty in forming the re-entry decision. As well aware that identifying internationalization strategy and deciding which countries to do business with has become more difficult in the last decade. The last one is process of the company leave an international activity staying outside that market for a period of time and re-entering, which also known as internationalization. However, a company re-entering decision is a dynamic process and complex that is influenced by a range of different factors such as internal and external. Next.
Next is conclusion. Next. To summarize, this article is about Beta creating a false step and first entering Mexico. Beta was too confident to re-enter Mexico by thinking that Beta already has good knowledge to survive in Mexico. Lastly, Beta succeeded by having the international joint venture. Next.
Next is a recommendation. Next. Firstly, improve the human resources and capabilities. The talent, experience, and skills are the valuable resources for the firm. That is important in obtaining the valuable and limited resources for the firm to grow internationally. Next.
Secondly, a company needs to find a trusted local partner first at the countries that they want to do their business. The reason is because to avoid their partner from exposing the firm's private data without consent. It will be easier for a company to re-entering a foreign market as they need market, branding, funding, local distribution, and human resources from the local partner. Next.
Lastly, by research on countries that we want to enter. For example, by having extra knowledge helps us to be more expert to enter a market and also helps Beta to gain a better understanding of Beta's target audience and keep Beta ahead of competition and allow Beta to identify their own and competitors' strengths and weaknesses. That's all from us. Thank you.